your wear hand is always smooth.
How's the judges going? Well, welcome to Bay Park. Sorry, Bay Park, wrong place. That was Bay Park we were just talking about. Anyway, there they are. The judges on the left, of course, Dan Mackey. In the middle is Brendan Dunker.
Look at that model doing his hair.
Then there goes the model boy with the greatest glasses out, Zach Pole. Oh, he's even got the V hanging in the window for product placement. Gentlemen, how are you?
Yeah, we're good. Been having a lot of fun. We've been watching some pretty killer battles so far. Shame we're not going to see Cole out there, unfortunately. Always good to watch him, particularly around this track. He's super aggressive, and when you get super aggressive drivers in a chase position, it's awesome. But we've seen a lot of guys trying to step up and take that mantle from Cole already, which is good.
It must suck to be Cole Armstrong right now, eh? He's just throwing his pass away. Jake Jones goes through into the top 8.
Yeah. Look, great to see another Aussie out there having a crack and getting out in the top 8. Looks like we're about to send some battles. So, we'll get into this, guys, and we'll no doubt chat to you soon.
All right, so it's top 16 time for the Galore Parts Group D1NZ National Drifting Championship. Leading out in the Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5D, it is the birthday boy, 2-time New Zealand Drift King, Fangadan Wallhouse, with little Stewie Baker in behind.
Yeah, Finger dropping a nice wide line. See how he's sitting out there nice wide, giving a little pocket for Stewie to dive up on the inside, what Stewie's doing. Finger not quite getting as wide, missing that first inner clip, but Stewie definitely was able to catch up because Finger had that wide line.
Yeah, the RTR carries huge angle. Ian from ASD in North Carolina builds an awesome car, and basically you see Stewie just bagging the tyres there, trying to keep up. I think that he did pretty bloody well for the power differential there, and you'll see Stewie throw it all in, and see one of the best at it, chase him now.
And see how Stewie, he obviously ran a midline to try and catch up to Finger, who gave him a real nice wide line. Sitting wide as he is again here, Finger then dipping down. So he's doing what the judges are wanting, giving Stewie the chance to dive down in those pockets to really catch up. But obviously the grip and power difference is a little bit different, and hard for him to really jump in there.
Yeah, you'll be interesting to see now because Stewie revels in chasing, but now on the lead we'll see what he's got to offer, and hopefully any speed differential doesn't cause mistakes. Fang is very good at what he does, so let's see a masterclass in chasing now.
So Bruce, you're actually quite a bit older, so just for the viewers out there, what's revel mean, mate? Or maybe me?
He enjoys it.
Oh, sweet, got you. I thought it must have been something like that. Bruce is one of our... we're long-time buddies. It's been around there a long time. Has, owner of Mag and Turbo Hamilton, eh? Plenty of rims, tyres, deals, Come see this man, he'll make sure he sorts you out. They've got finance, all that. Oh, the Triple Crown. So, yeah, we've got Darren Kelly, who's leading at the moment on 1, and then we've got Adam Davies, who is, 103. Here we go. So we've got the battle out there. Stewie, obviously, once again, getting a lot of wheel spin off the line. Fanger being able to sit with him, giving that little bit of a car length. Watch Stewie throw it in there, throwing that midline. Fanger doing exactly what the judges want, nice and wide, but wow, does he wash wide there.
Fanger?
Yeah, Fanger definitely, with that car that they've set up there, if he grabs the handbrake, it just unloads the whole car. It's very different to the normal basic S-chassis and whatnot that is set up. Like when we grab the handbrake, it drags the car.
Yeah.
For Fanger's car, when he grabs it, he unloads. So...
But he said I talked to him earlier, and they said they have taken a little bit of anti-squat out of it, which allows them to do that. But I think he might have got surprised. I think Stewie really went for it there.
Yeah, Stewie definitely threw a good bit of angle there, snapped back, didn't quite get in that out to that outer zone, but still very smooth through there. So this is going to be a very interesting one because Stewie obviously got left behind there. Didn't make too many mistakes behind Fanger. Fanger did a very clean run. So
here comes the result. Left for Fangadan Wallhouse, right for Stewie Baker. And we've got 2 strikes left in an OMT, but it's going to be enough for the birthday boy, Fangadan Wallhouse, to go through.
So, Steve, have we got time for the judges to explain how Fanger won that and the advantage for Stu there?
We'll come back after this one here. They have released cars, but we'll certainly do our best to find out some information.
So we've got Davies Timpleman now up against Troy Jenkins. Look at this rocket ship going out of here. This is 800 horsepower. BMW 2J against another 800 horsepower 86. Dana running a nice wide line there. Sucking up a little bit there, had to do a little bit of a correction on that, but got out to that outside zone, inside zone. Troy doing a pretty good chase run, but really just getting get by Dana with that powerhouse that he has got.
Well, Dana's been having problems with misfires all day, but they've obviously got that fixed because that was just like a rocket out of the gate, and Troy's car is no slouch. He looked like he just was a little,
on the line.
He's a little bit asleep on the light. He maybe should have gone on the last orange to close that gap, because certainly everyone knows that Danem's car is fast as anything.
And that optimum speed that we have been finding with the grip, and you can see right there, Danem 183 on that entry, had a nice mid to wide line. Look at that, ran that outer wheel on that outer zone. Tucked back up there, but didn't quite get out to that outer zone that the judges have been wanting us to do, which therefore gives the chance for that chase car to suck up in there. So, the second half, Danem versus Troy here, so this will be once again an interesting battle, as we just seen Danem pull a big gap on Troy. So it will be a smart move by Danem to obviously not be all over Troy there. To give himself a little bit of room that if there's any mistakes he can correct them nice and easily. But the biggest thing that we obviously need to see, Danem doing not too bad, trying to sit him behind Troy there, but I think that was definitely a slower entry.
He's hard on the handbrake there to not make contact, so
I'd say sit him behind there and not have a huge bubble behind Troy, because that was definitely a slower entry if the speed does come up for that run. 167, so much slower. 20k is nearly slower than what Danem let in, which will definitely affect his natural line, you know.
Yeah.
The cars are hooking up that much, and you can see, look at it, just
both cars drive, So Danem's on the handbrake there, and he's slowing up. He hasn't lost drift though, so he's missed the clip, but I'd say the proximity should carry him through with a win there.
And obviously him having such a slower lead run to chase, it's a lot harder. We've seen that with Matty Hill. He got caught out with a lot slower lead run, and it really hindered his entry because he wasn't able to do it as he'd been doing all weekend. So something that we definitely need to, as a driver, be able to adapt to.
Well, let's have a look at the results. Slide left for Danen Timpleman, slide right for Troy Jenkins. 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strike. Danen Timpleman goes through. Let's see if we can see if the judges are available quickly to explain the decision in the Whangadan Wallhouse versus Little Stewie Baker battle that we've seen. I know the judges will, the race control will be killing me for this one.
Another battle
here.
Ready to go there.
I might have been given the note. We'll have to come back to that one. When we do, we will obviously find out the answers. So it's going to be the Pariah NZ Girls S15 of Jesse Greenslade going up against the Parts Trader NZ S14 of Jaron Alcona.
This is one wild RB NOS-powered motor in Jesse's car, and he has absolutely just leaned on it there and entered full noise. Jaron has come back at him a little bit, blown a little bit wide. Jesse's been quite cautious on that clip, using all of his lock for the wise fab. Oh, he's got a bit messy through there, but
definitely died his car out a little bit and really hindered that, which then you see Jaron come up, which
within a car length back at the end.
Should really give him a touch of advantage, obviously, in the room, because look at this. Jaron obviously fries the tyres off the line. Jesse, that thing is quick, 181 entry, but look at the gap that he pulls. So obviously the judges will take that in consideration. It won't be an inactive chase, but Jaron sitting on that line, doing what he needs to do. Jesse just having a few bobbles through that part here, which gives the allowance. As look, Jaron sits on that line, and look at him just starting to suck back in into that pocket. So
if you look at it in 2 sections, I'd say Jesse had the first section.
Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah, good mate.
Good. So we're just in deliberation a little bit with this with this current battle, but it was really Stu's lead run that hurt him. He came in pretty shallow there. They were both off that Luxio clip that we wanted. Fang was a little bit more so, but unfortunately Stewie shut out Fanga. Fanga was able to better that line by staying wide around the sweeper. Both great battle through the second half of the track, but one thing we did notice was Stewie did really, really well to actually come back from that big gap on the first one as well, which was quite remarkable. He carries quite good speed, but it definitely came down a lot to the lead run.
The second half of the battle between the Parts Trader NZ S14 Jaron Alcona and Jesse Greenslade, it's that monster screaming V12 going up against Brucey Loves It, the RB of Jesse Greenslade. You see him smokes it off the tyres though as they fires down the front straight.
So yeah, both cars coming in. I think it's like Jesse's leaving a little bit of room there. Both entries, and he's closing the gap, sucking right up. Jaren's online, really good there. A little bit of a slow switch, but Jesse's still there. So now it comes down to who can finish this section off nicely.
A couple of corrections for Jesse Greenslade coming through, but still a nice solid run for both of these drivers. 184 kilometres an hour as they enter into the sweeper here.
So I'd say, yeah, with the entry, Jesse was closer on the entry, but he's managed to close up a little. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, how the judges see that if they revert back to line.
So when you say revert back to line, of course, if a car is unable to get on the tail end, and he's doing a pretty good job for Jesse Greenslade right now as he comes through the sweeper, they do resort back to a qualifying style run, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So it looked like Jaren did a really aggressive switch there and pulled about another 2.5 car lengths. So, but both drivers hit the last clip nicely. So that's
all right. Well, let's go straight to the scoreboard and see which direction it's going to go. One strike to Jaren Alcona. One strike to Jesse Greenslade and a OMT. So we are going one more time. These are the one more times I love.
I don't think either driver will feel hard done by that because they both had good and bad parts. Yeah. But I think the second time round, when you see the rerun, I think Jaren will be closer on him. I think he'll give it, well, if he can keep up, of course.
Yeah, correct.
All right, so the next battle out there will be the Pack and Say Botany Downs S15 of Ben Wilkinson. That's an RB32 as well, I believe, going up against that monster RB34 of Darren Kelly. What is the difference between a 32 and a 34?
200 cc.
200cc.
200cc.
Darren's got bigger pistons and a
bigger stroke.
Same stroke, bigger pistons, isn't it?
No, opposite. Same pistons, bigger stroke.
So the difference between these two cars is Benji's got a big turbo on his, and so it's a little bit laggy, like you will see him bag the tyres off the line here, and Darren with the sequential gearbox, his car is real quick out of the gate, so I think Darren will be right on him here.
Now, for myself being the spotter for Darren, I've said to him, obviously, see how he started to roll so he can get a good bit of drive and sit with Benji. But because of how this track is and the mistakes that come along, I've told Darren to keep just that car length. What he is doing, so Ben's done a nice wide entry, and look at that, gives Darren the chance to suck right up in there. That is awesome. Darren can chase a slower car. Look at him on the handbrake, sitting in behind Benji, who's a little bit slower there, but that is not bad by the both of them to jump through that section there. Ben running that wider line, giving Darren that little pocket to tuck up on the inside, and I think he drove not bad just there. 187 entry, so nice and quick.
All right, so Cole's going to go straight on to the... so he's doing the spotting. I think Cole's actually having another look at this one here so he can tell. Unfair advantage. Might have to kick this guy out.
I was very impressed how Darren kept that off the grass, and he didn't.
Really well.
Yeah, and he didn't lose, and he's kept all the proximity. Obviously, Ben's dialed on some big angle at the end there. But that was impressive. Like Darren entered right on him, hung right. He bags the tyres, because it just gets up into the boost and just sparks the torque. So although he's done well here.
He's done very well there, jumping the line because he knows Darren will come past him like a rate of knots. But Ben did very well to sit him behind. That was very smart of Ben. Hopefully Darren does a nice wide line. Look at that, sitting out there, tucking in a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Jumping back to that inside clip. Both of these boys just have a little wheel drop by Ben. Just gathers that up, but a little bit of a mistake there, and that's all it can take in this. And I'd say that slight advantage has just gone to Darren on that. But what an awesome battle.
Yeah, I think it was a...
Talk us through this one, Bruce.
I think it was a right rear wheel there of Ben's as he switched, which will be, I think there was a quarter-point deduction for a wheel off.
Yep.
And I'd say Darren's proximity on the entry was another car length closer than that. He was literally on his door.
Look
so
at...
Darren,
he has
two wheels.
Bugger.
Yeah, so.
Bugger. That was a really good run, obviously, for Darren's lead. Probably could have been a slight bit wider. He definitely probably would have got marked down for that, but obviously Benji having that mistake there, he I'd say would be going through.
All right, let's have a look and see what the score will be. And we've got 1, 2, 3 to Darren Kelly. Darren Kelly will go through.
Yeah, I think Ben's approach was really, really good. He jumped the light, got out ahead of him, and just tried to do everything he could to keep proximity, and then just got caught out with a little mistake. But when you're pushing that hard, those things happen.
As Cole was saying as well, really smart by Ben Wilkinson on that final run.
Yeah, well, he's got Joe Kyle. Joe Kyle down on the pits talked to me earlier and said that they're really having trouble getting off the line. And we talked in depth with the judges this morning, saying we need to have that allowance for cars that you know are going to drag you off to have that jump. So, and the judges discussed it for a couple of minutes and agreed that they'd rather see close entries than cars getting left behind.
So here comes Zach Pohl. How are you, mate? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Steve, and hi to all the live stream viewers. It's good to be here.
So look, what a battle just then. Ben Wilkinson's smart move in that second part, just to try and get that advantage going down the front straight, wasn't enough though to take Darren Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, Ben sort of had that bit of a moment sort of towards the last section of the track. Darren had that extreme chase. That was probably one of the best chases we've seen so far. It's a tough battle, but when you start making mistakes like Ben Wilkinson made, it's just too obvious. So yeah, we had to put it into So we're going to cut away from us.
No worries. Look, thank you very much. Of course, now we're up to our next battle. It'll be the Coastal Sparrow FC RX7 of Liam Burke of Geordie Cole going up against the Measure Up Flooring S13 of Liam Burke. We know that Geordie Cole's car is ultra fast. There has been a big difference in speed between Liam Burke today and what he's done during the weekend.
And obviously both of these boys were pro sport drivers last season, now stepped up into the Pro Series, and they are adapting really well. Look at that entry of Geordie. But look at Liam Burke just diving up on that. It's definitely, that car is not slow.
Some
contact. And contact.
There.
Yeah.
Use your brakes, Geordie.
I think Liam just ran himself out of a little bit of room there. Obviously that probably wasn't definitely not deliberate, but maybe he didn't estimate that Geordie was going to slow down on the switch quite as much.
Well, let's have a look.
We are allowed to slow in. That is a D-cell zone. Yeah. That is where we're quite hard on the brakes to try and transition to the outer zone.
Geordie gives it nothing, isn't holding back. The bonnet's flapping there, and he's entering. Does it say the speed there, Steve?
I didn't get a speed on this one here.
Probably looked in the high 170s, maybe. Liam's car is really driving around that corner, though. I think he's on semis, and I believe Geordie must have run radials this weekend.
So as being the chase driver, you are obviously see Geordie bang on the handbrake there, obviously trying to slow the car. He didn't use the foot brake, and that just caught Liam Burke just out. So obviously coming in just too quick, where Geordie was trying to switch back, slow the car down. Obviously something else is going wrong there. While we've got a bit of spare time, do we have the judges just to explain possibly what they think about that run? Were we correct in the fact of that was Liam Burke's fault, where he came in too quick there on the D-cell zone? What's your feedback there, guys?
So watching Geordie come around, as you see him come through about the 100-metre zone, he's hard on the handbrake there, just slowing himself down. We specifically asked not for that to be done. So we've attributed the fault to Geordie.
Wow.
What's happened there, we believe, is that as he switched back, Liam's come in too hot. There's been a small contact, which has pushed Geordie the rest of the way around and then off the track. So Geordie's fault, that one. He just got a little bit too close into that infield. You know what it's like, Cole, when you get in there. If you suck in too hard, the only way to get yourself back out is to use a little bit of handbrake to adjust it, which Geordie's done, fair enough, but unfortunately it is his mistake, and so his fault.
No, thank you very much for that. And that obviously definitely clears it up for a lot of the viewers, because what me and Bruce had anticipated on that Liam Burke was at fault because it is a D-cell zone. So that's very good that they were able to explain to us that in that zone, yes, it is a D-cell zone, but obviously we couldn't see that Geordie was wailing on the handbrake, trying to slow the car, but also maybe drag the car a little bit longer. So good to have that explanation so everyone can understand that.
The NOS up. If you're actually down by the side of the track, you'll hear the thing popping.
So that's what's happening now. He's actually purging his NOS?
Yeah. Trying to
make sure
they
it's got
try and
full
get
pressure.
the air out of the nitrous system, because as he takes off, I think his is up to 5,000 RPM or something. If he's on full throttle, it will inject the 150 shot or 100 shot of nitrous into that RB motor.
So basically he's got around a 600 kilowatt tune, but with the NOS it makes it usable for about 2,000 revs. So look at this bag in the tyres again.
See, so this was much better from Jaron though. He was so much closer to him, and definitely been able to sit with Jesse, but obviously Jesse's very quick on here, but they both run not a bad line. Jaron coming to the inside there, washing a little bit wide. Jesse definitely a cleaner run there. The car bouncing around a little bit, but Still not a bad lead run there by Jesse Greenslade, and not a bad chase either by Jaron Corona. That was a...
Jaron started like near the entry. He just dropped back a few car lengths, maybe 4 or 5. Jesse has just railed the sweeper, perfect line that the judges want, a nice mid-line, tight into the switch. So, I don't know, depending on what they judge proximity versus line, Jesse's line there was just bang on. He left heaps of room for Jaron to close up on the inside. Jaron's had a little bit, he's missed the clip on the chase, but he has filled out the last 2 zones as well. So he's going to get some credit for slightly quicker through that section, I'd say, but that's a pretty dominant sweeper from Jesse.
Straight in ZS14 of Jaron of Corona, again going up against the prior NZ Girls S15 of Jesse Greenslade.
Yeah, for sure.
Out of the box again, Jaron's got a good start there. Jesse's with him. Now, if Jesse uses his power, he's let a little gap there.
Both not bad there on the entry. Jesse definitely had a good, nice entry, wide, sucking up on the inside. Jaron having a little bobble, but Jesse right there with him, doing really well on that chase.
I think he got caught in the smoke.
Definitely got caught in the smoke, hesitated on the handbrake just a touch, and that's all it takes, and someone can drive away so quickly.
So he did the sweeper really well, stayed nice and close. There's that hesitation we just mentioned coming through the inside clip with the ripple strip. So we'll see how.
Obviously, for the viewers, you definitely can't see, but exactly where Jesse is sitting right now, bang, Jaron throws out a lot of smoke, bang, instantly Jesse would have lost all viewing. Obviously, right there, see, he could not see a thing, so he would have hesitated. Obviously, you don't want to go into the back of the car, you don't want to come out of the smoke and know that you're on the ripple about to go on the wall, so...
He hasn't lost his drift there, so he has...
So here we go, slide him left for Jesse, slide him right for Jaron. We've got Duncan saying, oh, and we have 2 to Jesse Greenslade. So hopefully after this next battle, we might get one of these guys, either Dan or, either Brendan or Zach, to give us a little explanation of how they got that. Dan, you can as well, mate, it's all good.
So they've made that call, so these guys will be about to leave the line. Andrew is certainly not short on speed on the entry. He's been consistently high 180s, 190s, and he just keeps his foot flat in that gearbox in that car. He just hesitated a little bit.
Well, let's see what they can do. We've got the Ryco 24/7 Mimico 180, the 30B turbo power plant of Adam Davies entering in. He's got Andrew Redwood, the Nankang FC, the king of angle. What is he going to do? He's stacking it on.
Definitely threw it, but obviously like I've been saying all day, there's a lot of grip there, and he had a touch of hesitation thinking that he was going to zoom up onto Adam like he is doing now, sitting right on that rear quarter, which is an awesome finish to the battle. But that mistake was a big mistake. He had a lot of understeer just then on that.
He'll be dirty with himself there because the car has been on point all weekend.
Do you think so it looked like he did a big handbrake entry, obviously probably going a bit slower than he's used to, bang, grabbed the handbrake, it threw to a lot of angle, and didn't quite get on the throttle enough.
The judges should have the perfect vantage point there to see if he actually lost his drift or whether he actually maintained angle.
Just look at that, see him dive up in there, that's such an awesome aggressive chase by Andrew.
And the health and safety rep at the company I work for, that is, they're over that couple of metres that they're not allowed. Anyway, look, we are back out for the second half of this battle.
Yeah, and there we go. Like we'd said, Andrew is out of the gate so quickly. Adam doing really well to try and sit with him. Entered very early, but see how Andrew just sucked up on the inside there. Adam washing out pretty wide.
Andrew hit the clips there nicely, hit that clip, he's hit the inner clip.
Adam doing not too bad in behind, but obviously that gap is definitely honed out massively from Andrew's speed. That car is a rocket ship there. So you can see Adam got a good little bit of a roll on there, but it just really shows. 191 for Andrew Redwood's entry there. That is quick.
And he's actually one of the few drivers who's just weight shifting the car in. He's not using any handbrake, so it carries that speed most of the way around the sweeper.
But you can definitely see, because he doesn't have those legs, the car won't
keep accelerating, yeah.
Or go to that slightly wider line, because that thing is just sitting on the rev limiter. But look at that cloud of smoke sitting right on his driver's door. That was an awesome lead run by Andrew Redwood. But
so I think it's going to come down to that mistake of Andrew on the entry.
Zach calls it one more time. Okay.
So they've really penalised Andrew for that big angle he threw, and maybe deemed that he did straight line instantaneously, which is a real shame because Andrew killed it on his lead run and the chase was awesome, but just that small error has cost him.
Yeah, so hopefully Yep. Brendan, we can chuck you on the mic there, mate, and just give us a little answer of how the outcome of Jesse and Jaron happened, where that was quite a close battle there, mate.
Hey, you guys can hear me all right?
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. So a couple of definitely very, very close battles. Redwood, of course, really fast. The thing that really hurt Redwood on the first battle was that over-initiation behind Adam. He recovered from that well, and the rest of the chase was amazing, and true Redwood style proximity was fantastic. That actually did bring him back up in the points for making that mistake, but it did have a very, very slight advantage from me by a quarter of a point at that point to Adam. On the second battle, the biggest thing I found was that with me was that Redwood's line, he'd been doing it during the days, he's just running out of gears around that sweeper, and that sucks him into that inside line, and it just doesn't give Adam the opportunity to get up and get on the inside and battle, and that also gives Andrew a faster line, and what happens with that faster line, he ends up getting more proximity away from Adam as a chase, and it doesn't give Adam the chance to get up and battle on him like he had with the other way around. So, bit of a shame, but yeah, it was cut like that.
Are you also able to give us a little bit of rundown of Jesse and Jaron? I know it was a couple of battles ago, but that was definitely a close one as well. But just wanting to possibly see what Zach's feedback is on that one, maybe for that, to see if there's any difference in there.
It's a tough one. I'd say so far that Jesse's probably the only driver that's actually driving the entry line. The entry line that we're asking for. He's out wide to the track. He's filling the zone, and we mark quite high for that. If guys are taking a shallow line, we deduct quite heavily for that. Jesse obviously had the corrections and the bobbles for the last section. He was marked down heavily on that, but I think overall Jesse's performance on that run pushed him forward just.
So definitely
pretty much what we thought. We thought the Jesse's gangster entry kind of carried enough points.
It's important that guys are pushing those entries. Cole, you were doing it yesterday and this morning. It's big balls to be able to do that sort of stuff. If you're taking the shallow line, it generally is the easier line. If you are out on the wing of the track and you're pushing it hard, that's the natural line. It feels good, but it's also harder to do. So if guys can do what we ask, they'll get the points.
For sure. Thanks for that, guys. Champions.
All right, let's have a look at the next battle. Of course, it's the measure up flooring. S13 of Liam Burke going up against the Coastal Spa and Pool FC RX7 of Geordie Cole. So it's Geordie Cole to play chase. Now, it'll be interesting to see what sort of speed, because that looks a lot faster than what we've seen. And we were talking about this a little bit earlier on, Bruce Tannock, that the entrance speeds, and a big mistake coming out there too for the lead car.
He's had a bit of and he's washed wide there. And he's actually taken Geordie off the track. Geordie has used him as a mobile clipping point there, but the thing is, Liam has stayed on the track, so obviously we knew that Geordie was at a disadvantage because the judges told us that they had deemed him responsible for the contact in the last battle. So watching this again, as you said, Liam's coming, which looks like with some good pace. Did they give you a speed there, Steve?
Yeah, 186. So that's nearly 20 k's faster than what he has been going throughout the weekend.
He has had a correction there. Now Geordie's dropped a wheel off the back. Now Liam's gone on a lot faster than he maybe planned to, and he's washed out there. And Geordie's tried to mimic him and just run off there.
And that's very hard to obviously judge as a chase car.
Here comes the result. Left for Geordie Cole, right for Liam Burke. 1, 2, 3 swipes right. Liam Burke will go through into the top 8. So recovery's just moving off the track. I can see they've moved themselves into position. So Carl Thompson, there goes little Ellie in his picture. Love the photo there, going against the Chad McKenzie.
It'll be a good battle, because both of these boys will not pedal, but look at the speed from that S15. He is out the gate on those Falcon tyres nicely. It'll be a high 180 entry there. Carl running wide, sitting out wide, real nice. Chad also doing a very nice chase in behind, getting right up onto those clips, but look, Carl is doing the job also, and really setting that Falcon up exactly where he wants to, and that is a very nice clean run by
exactly what Zach just talked about in the judges box, was he was filling that outside zone,
giving the opportunity for Chad, if he was there, to suck up on the inside.
So I would say the judges will give a very favourable score for that, because it's exactly what they've asked for. His entry is mid-track, he's held it wide, he's hit the clips.
Look at Chad in the in the chase. He is sitting wide. He's doing that line also. So we've also got to take into consideration. Look at him. Drops back into that inner zone. Hits that inner clip. Yeah, there's a gap there. So just remember that the judges will take that into consideration, that the cars have had that gap from the start. Chad did run that a pretty clean line. So even though there was a huge gap on that, I'd say that would be. But anyway, here we go. These two monsters are going to go at it again with Chad leading. This will definitely be a bit different for Carl. Chad having the car obviously a lot looser than what Carl is used to. I hope you can take that into consideration with that Falcon being so hooked up. But look, Chad's not going to back away. He is going full tit into this first corner. Carl only that car length behind. He's sat in there nicely. Look at that, doing really well on the handbrake, sitting in behind Chad. A lot slower car. They're both getting to those clips. Carl doing very well to sit in behind Chad there as being a slightly slower car, but that thing is hooked up pretty well. And that's a pretty good chase by Carl, and a good lead run also by Chad. So
I'd say Carl did very well to stay so close through the sweeper.
Yep.
Chad closed the door down a
entry.
little bit on him coming into the clip. Carl just got on the handbrake, slowed up, switched nicely. And the best thing here, I think, to note coming up is Carl doesn't sacrifice the line. He still hits all the clips in the chase. So he's out there to the edge, right on the edge of the track, inside clip, outer clip. He's given a little bit of distance away and then closed up to a couple of car lengths at the end there. So
that would be a hard one for the judges to call. We've got they'll be taking into consideration obviously the tyres.
Now, one thing that I noticed is that when it comes to spotters, you've got Darren Kelly is currently using you. Carl Thompson, do you know who he's using as a spotter this weekend?
He has Mr. I don't think Kurt Whitaker. So that is an awesome spotter to have, and you can definitely see Kurt would have got in his ear. Don't give him too much of a gap, and look at that.
Yeah.
Carl Thompson gets
Clean
the win,
cut.
and he will be absolutely over the moon with that.
So Carl Thompson gets 3 strikes in the left-hand direction. So the Fat Boy Drift Machine is going through, and that'll be battling out the Danum and
Jesse again straight away. Oh, of course, he had that one more time, so...
Yeah, there we go. Danum and Jesse.
Now, this is 2 rocket ships here.
Possibly the 2 fastest cars in the field.
So far, you definitely see Danum get out the gate. He has a flat shift thing, sequential, and look at the grip that BMW gets. But Jesse definitely not giving him an inch. But Danum flying into there with a big handbrake. Jesse sitting nice and wide, but he will definitely be sitting in that smoke screen there of Danum, but doing really well.
Oh, he just picked up some dirt there.
Which he was furious about. He's trying so well, Jesse. But a big mistake spinning out there, giving Danum a massive advantage there.
I'm very surprised like how well Danum's car got out of the gate there. That just like I said, Jesse's bagging the tyres there a little bit, getting left to right.
And he's running the Achilles 123 tyre, which is near one of the best tyres out there.
What he's done there is he's held the judges' line, like he probably would have had a slight advantage there, but then coming in here he's dropped a wheel, and that's when it's all gone wrong for him in the smoke.
Yeah, he has. He's just fallen back that touch, and like I was saying before, when you fall into that smoke, it's a scary thing because you can't see, you know what you're in, and you do not want to just...
Yeah, 202 is impressive.
Yeah, for sure. Fast. But here we go. Look at Danum sitting right there in behind Jesse, just smoking the tyres up as they come in here. This will be a quick entry, but look, Danum not giving him too much, and look at that, both of them to a lot of angle. Danum sucking up on the inside. Hopefully he doesn't get caught out in the smoke. Drag the handbrake. See, he got caught out in the smoke there, but he did really well to regather that and just hold it together, so hats off for Danum. But that was a good clean run by Jesse Greenslade.
That lead run again for Jesse was right on. Like, that's just full commitment. I don't think he's lifted from the start line to the entry.
196 kilometres.
Yeah.
Jesse has been doing this all weekend. He is up there in the speed. Hats off to this man that's come up into the Pro Series and really putting a presence down there. Didn't drop a wheel, really nicely.
Yeah. So Danum's just used the handbrake to hold angle, slow the car up and switch a little slower than maybe he'd like to, but he probably knew that from his spotter that he had a decent advantage because of Jesse's mistake. So
sit him behind there, but here we go. Slide him left for Danum, slide him right for Jesse, and Danum Timpleman gets 1, 2, 3. So he goes through to the top 4.
Top 8? Top 4. Shit.
Jesse still cannot be, angry about that. He had a little mistake which definitely hindered him, but what a drive he has done this weekend.
You can't feel hard done by there, but he should hold his head high because those were some awesome lead runs.
All right, Bruce, what I want you to do is actually critique Cole Armstrong's battle here when he goes up against Jake Jones.
Does he go against Jake?
So Jake will count himself lucky that he doesn't have to face Cole.
Because Adam won against Andrew. Is that right? There we go.
Yeah.
We're into the top 8. There we go.
Yeah. So this is going to be a good battle.
So hopefully Jake takes Wilkie's advice or Wilkie's example from earlier and gets out of the box fast. Good on him.
Well, let's have a look. It's the Galore Parts Group GT86 of Jake Jones going up against Ryker 24/7 Mimico 13B Turbo of Adam Davies.
He's doing very well to keep pace with Adam here. He's chucked it in, big angle. Oh, he sucked a little. Oh, it's understeer. So, hang on, but Adam's made a little bit of a mistake there as well.
Jake's done another mistake, and this is a very messy run.
And he shut it down.
Furious about it. It must have been that ghost run that he had with Cole that definitely put him off. So, but very good lead run. But obviously, what we've been saying about the whole weekend, Jake, is it doesn't have the wheel speed to keep the car going. 174, they've been around that all weekend, but the car is just on Revolut. Look, so he threw it to a lot of angle, but he entered too early.
Yeah, and he would have, like I said, if he didn't get out of the drift there, it probably would have railed the inside wall.
Yeah.
And obviously not being Jake's car, he wants to return it in one piece. But they have been having a little bit of issues, I think, with it pushing a little bit of water out.
That's what happens with 2Js, eh?
Because Jake being a RB man through and through, he would love to be here in New Zealand one day with his RB M3, as he calls it.
Both of you, just get out. Go. This is quite nice. For the RB fans out there, they're like, good. It's good to see Bruce and Cole just handing it to Steve because everyone knows how much I on about 2JZs. Yeah, even Jake was saying this is a little bit slow for me if I had my RB. So I've been
Well, I think if the tree pans out correctly, we might get to see the fastest 2J versus the fastest RB, I guess.
Yeah.
Although
I mean, because Cole's not in there.
Well, no, his isn't even that fast. In a straight line.
So let me explain what Bruce is talking about there. Every time we come to a track or something like this, his stupid car somehow hooks up way better and we try and have a drag race. And I was like, beauty, I got more power than him this time. I got the good car, I got the sequential. Yeah, let's have a drag race down that back straight at Pukekohe.
And
left me for dust again, spewing. But here we go, we've got the boys up again. Jake leading, he will be definitely furious and throwing in something big. Hopefully Adam's had his boys on the mic just to say, hey.
So Adam here, if Adam completes the lap, he should be okay. He's left a little bit of a gap too, and obviously his spotter's given him some good advice there.
But obviously they also know that he will be quicker than Jake. But a little bit of a bobble there by Adam. Hopefully he can gather it back up together.
He has, yep.
Jake doing all he can do for that lead run. Good driving by Jake Jones, but awesome driving by Adam Davies in the Mimico 180 SX. That boy has definitely come leaps and bounds, getting really comfortable with that 180. Here's the TTI replay.
So Adam here is, I'd say maybe just his spotter has told him just to sit back a little. I mean, Jake's entry was 5k faster. Jake again sucking to the inside there, kind of struggling to keep some angle. Adam switched early. Ooh, I mean, that was maybe an instantaneous straight line, but you could have called it a lazy switch. But I'd say that's probably not going to be as much of a deduction as Jake shutting the car down completely.
For sure, mate.
Position there where you are, obviously weight shifting the vehicle. So, but I'd say they've looked at it and they've said no. Yeah. So
1, 2, 3 strikes to the left. Adam Davies will go through. Great battle over Jake Jones. Big shout out to everyone in Australia. Support.
One of the veterans in the sport, and Carl is definitely one of the newcomers, so he likes to, thrive on Fanger. See how he got a little bit of a jump out there, but he obviously thinks he's going to catch Fanger up, but Fanger is just out of the gate like a rocket ship. That RTR Mustang is flying. Throws it in with a bit of handbrake. Carl through a very early entry, sucking up on the inside there. Look at Fanger just lifting a wheel. Carl doing very well to close that gap.
Absolutely, to close
that line. It's very well of him.
Fanger has just run a qualifying run there to near perfection. Like, that was bang on what he did in qualifying to score number one. I'm not sure what was going on there. Did Carl maybe?
Yeah, I think he thought he might have get out of the gate. 194 entry from Fanger. That is a quick entry. Definitely up there, and you can see it. Carl tucking up on the inside, but Fanger doing exactly what the judges wanted.
And Carl's using the advantage of taking the slightly shallower line to get proximity. Again, that's all allowed. And then he maybe just had a slightly lazy switch at the end there, which has allowed Fanger to pull that little bit of gap again.
Here we go again. We've got Carl now leading out Fanger. Dan.
I think Fanger will back himself to match Carl's speed, so he'll probably leave at the same time. I don't think
There's no way he's going to give him an inch, even though Fanger definitely had a good, clean lead run. I think this is going to be a pretty awesome battle here, where Fanger will be pretty close on the door of Carl Thompson there, which will put a lot of pressure on Carl. Hear them both rocketing in here. Carl going for a huge entry. Fanger nice and wide, but look at him suck up on the inside there.
Lifting a wheel.
Carl throwing it in there. Fanger being out. Did well to really hold that and stall it out, but Carl also doing a very nice clean run. This is tight, man. They both did a pretty tidy run. Let's give them a clap. That is awesome. One of the good battles of the day here. That will be very hard for the judges. Hopefully we might be able to, once the judges have possibly picked a result, they could give us a bit of feedback on their thoughts of that. 187. There's a fast lot of speed here. See how Fanger sucked up on the inside, but that's awesome of Carl. That's exactly what the judges wanted him to do. Gave that wider line, gave the room for Fanger to suck up there. Got into that inner clip, and then also that outer zone to give Fanger that chance to dive up on the inside there. But
will they judge it as how they saw it, and that Fanger's lead run was really, really good?
Yeah, that's a hard one for the judges. I don't know, have they got a call you there yet? Oh, look, we've got a
slippery
little Aussie,
squid.
slippery squiddy just slid on in here. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I honestly just wanted to come up here and congratulate you with this commentary, mate. It's been amazing. Like, for the people that don't know out there, you guys are explaining everything perfectly on behalf of everyone in the pits. We're all like, Cole, you need to stay here full time.
Oh, right. Oh, they've got a call? It's a one more time. Yeah, that is fair.
So it was too hard to split the drivers, and they figured let him go at it one more time, and then let him settle it on the track. So nothing worse than a really conscientious decision, and like having everyone questioning it afterwards and rerunning it in their mind. Yeah. Let him go again. Steve hates it, but hey, this is exactly what both of those drivers would have wanted.
Totally okay with the one more time, and every judge makes the same decision. It's when we have that offset one. But look, here we go. It's Cole's man out there, his teammate.
Darren Kelly in the lead, and Liam Burke on the chase.
And look at Darren getting out of the gate like I told him. Nice clean lead run. Look at that angle. That is exactly what we wanted. Probably not quite as wide as he could have been, but tucked up on the inside there. Liam getting right up there on the inside. Both of them definitely not doing too bad of a line. Darren running wide there, giving Liam the chance to suck up on the inside, but pretty even run right there. Pretty even run. Darren 189 on that entry. But as you can see here, just pulled a gap on it, but because he ran that slightly wider line, it gave Liam Burke the opportunity to suck up. See how he sucks up on this inner side here, and
so Liam didn't.
Up.
So Liam sacrificed just a little bit at the end there. Yeah. So he's kind of caught up there. So I'd say lead run. You've got Darren and the GTR there.
See them again. It's a measure of flooring. S13 of Liam Burke going up against Darren Kelly in the R35 Skyline by Nissan New Zealand and Nismo.
So here we go, Liam, and Darren's literally on his bumper. He's going to...
that little half a car length because Liam has been quite quick on the inside. Look at that, Darren sucking up on the inside there, doing nicely. He'll be grabbing the handbrake, trying to slow the car down. Liam didn't get out to that outside zone, but doing a clean run. Look at that textbook switch there by Darren in behind, sucking up on the inside there. Nice, clean battle. I hope you guys out there really enjoyed that, because that was a good run by the boys.
One thing you have to keep in mind is, I mean, you drive a huge shopping trolley as well, but Darren's got a big car, and he just actually reported back to Cole that he was rather pleased with himself there.
So he's got to be happy. 194 kilometre an hour.
So Liam's been growing another leg as he goes through the stages, and he's been now up into the 190s. So he's done really well there. But Darren's literally lifted GTR imprint on the back of the car.
That was a 194 entry by a 2JZ. That's fast.
Yeah, no, that was bloody amazing, and for Darren to follow that, jeez. Oh, well, we got Benny Jenkins up here.
Ben,
Okay, so
He won't have the front splitter. He's not getting it now. No way.
what's the highest score?
Hold up. Here we go. The judges have got a decision, and my man Mandeza goes through to the top four. Top four? Yeah, final.
Top four versus Adam Davies.
Yeah, Adam Davies. Darren goes through to awesome textbook chase.
So just reminding everyone in the first run, Carl kind of let Fanger get off the blocks a bit faster. So now here we go. He hasn't done the same here. So
we'll be giving it an inch. Obviously, Fanger still. Look at that car, just hooked up so well out the gate. Listen, both of these V8s screaming into the section, but Carl a lot closer. Wow, he threw that too early. But held that together. Fanger giving them a real wide line for Carl to suck up on the inside. Both getting into that outer zone. Fanger going very deep, missing that in a clip. And once again, very shallow through that section there. Should have probably pushed wide, which would have given Carl a touch more room to dive up on the inside. So yes, Fanger definitely pulled a bit of a gap because he was slightly in. That means he had a shorter line to run through that section, therefore not giving the chance for Carl to suck up on the inside.
So the cars, they've almost entered together there, like initiated at the same time. Fanger's run that big line and he's switched nice and early, and he's opened the door there for Carl, and Carl has taken that opportunity. Obviously he's probably hesitated there in the smoke and then got out of the gas, back on it as quick as he can, and probably 3, maybe 4 car lengths at the end there. So that was very, very
car sitting in the pits, which he couldn't run this weekend because it's not so. Let's see how they go. What do you think of this one, Jay Jones?
So Fanger's tucked up right under the back bar. He's left a little bit of a gap there.
Carl's
Big
coming with
initiation.
huge
Big
commitment.
initiation.
Fanger's running wide here, and then he's going to try and come straight back up. Carl's actually just... Whoa!
No way.
Fanger, I don't know how
That is
Fanger
ridiculous.
held on to that one.
And see how with that RTR Mustang just gets on the throttle and is able to come back up with a 194 entry. These guys are flying, but see how Fanger did a slightly later entry.
He's thrown it in right on his rear quarter there.
Doing exactly
and Carl's
what they want.
got big angle. He's making a chaseable run.
Oh, dropped the wheel there.
I'm not sure if he did. It might have been just the bumper.
I feel there's a bit of biasness there. Neutral up here. Get a... Here we go, guys. Slide him left for Fanger Dan, slide him right for Carl Thompson. What have we got? Brendan Dunker goes, not sure. Dan Mackey goes, unsure. Zach Pole, still. Oh, Dan Mackey's going Fanger. Brendan's going Carl, and what's that going? Fanger Dan Wallhouse gets the win. Now, after this, if we have this next battle, it would be awesome to be able to get Dan Mackey on the mic just to give an explanation to the crowd, just to let them go. But here we go. We've got Adam Davies leading out. My man, Darren Kelly. Look at that, giving him no room coming into this. Boys, throw it in nice and wide there by Adam Davies. Darren, he's a textbook chaser, mate. Driving really well, sitting up a little bit shallower there. Adam doing very well, giving a good clean run, giving a chaseable line there for Darren to suck up. But look at this by the boy. He is tucking up there on that Mimico 180 SX, and that was a nice chase. Good lead run too by Adam, running a nice wide line, doing what the judges are asked, giving Darren that room to tuck up on the inside. 180 kilometre.
He's taken every opportunity there.
This is the top 4.
You did mention that, just there he's lost a little bit of angle, but certainly hasn't lost his drift, and he switches back, kept the wheel on the absolute outside of the white line there, so he's well inside.
I'm pretty sure it went off.
And then he's closed up within less than a car length there at the end. So Adam's got a little noses. It's a long way away.
For sure. Now you watch Adam out of the gate here. Look, he knows Darren is going to be quick out of the gate here. Out of this line, this RB motor has got some serious power. Look at him clicking through that 6-speed TDI. He will be coming in here fast and hopefully just does a nice clean line. Look at Adam. Nice and wide. See, Darren sort of shut the door on Adam there, which is definitely not what the judges were wanting to see. Throwing it wide there. Adam sucking up on the inside there. Darren giving him a bit of room to come in there, but Adam definitely got caught out with a bit of a stall there, but very clean run by both of them. I think Darren could have definitely gone a touch wider on the sweeper just to give Adam that time to try and suck in.
I think you find that maybe the track is cooling down possibly, and he's actually finding more grip out
193 entry. That is a quick entry. But as you see there, the track is definitely gripped up there. Adam just dropping one wheel on that inner line there. but did a very good chase there. Hats off to that boy in that 13B turbo behind Darren there.
By the time he's cleared that smoke in the back of Darren's car, he's got to...
So there we go, we've got a result. 1, 2, 3 strikes right for Darren Kelly.
So we've got Fanger and Dainham, and this will be interesting because as Dainham, we mentioned earlier, he's cured his misfire issues, and his car is absolutely flying. So right, out of the gate.
Fanger out of the gate like a rocket ship. See if he pulls a gap on Dainham. Dainham pulling the gears really hard. And look at Fanger pulling a slight gap on Dainham, but whether or not he thinks, look, see Dainham smart, a slightly later entry. Look at that. Dainham Timpleman. Pretty textbook on that chase there. Fanger just throwing a big line, and Dainham's just caught himself out.
Yeah.
What a bugger for him. He'll be disappointed, but very clean run there by Fanger again.
Another
Fanger's on
chaseable,
Wales.
absolutely chaseable run again. He might have gone a little bit past where he probably ideally wanted to be, but he didn't lose his, didn't lose angle, but he
Little
did
bit
slow.
slower too.
He did slow up, and Dainham does dive to the inside a little bit, which has caught him out because he's on the handbrake trying to slow the car up not to hit Fanger.
But look at this, Fanger's really wide. Look at him start to come across. Did miss slightly that clip, but it's a tough one. When you're in that scenario, Dainham definitely squished himself there by being too close to Fanger, and then as Fanger cut across to get to that inner clip, Dainham comes out of the gate here and see if Fanger can stick with him and see how Fanger jumped him. That's a little bit of a smart one there for Fanger there, because watch this rocket ship come up to this front straight as Dainham is pulling the gears in there, does pull a bit of a gap, but watch as Fanger enters slightly later.
Ooh.
Dainham having a bit of a bobble and cutting that inner side line, exactly what the judges don't want. It's not giving Fanger the chance to catch back up there either, but
Dainham's
he's
gone real
done-
quick through that last section there. He
definitely
switched
done
early.
a quick line there, but definitely missed out on the
Luxio clip,
on the Luxio clip, and therefore also shutting the door on Fanger. See, 186 for that entry, nearly 10 kilometres faster.
It looked faster than that because he was absolutely hauling.
Yeah, look at him running the wheel just over that, but look at the car just grip up on him, and obviously that's definitely a hindrance, having that little bobble there. And see, missed that inner clip slightly, gets that really nicely, and throwing on a lot of angle and has a lot of drive through there.
Hasn't he?
Flat foot.
Yeah, by the smoke coming up.
Well, here we go. Let's swipe left for Fanger down Wallhouse, swipe right for Dainham Timpleman. 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strikes. It's going to be Fanger Dan Wallhouse that makes his way into the final. The third and fourth battle on the left-hand side of the screen. In the Ryco 24/7 Mimico 180S6, Adam Davies going up against the NZMotoroyals.com E46 BMW 2JZ power plant. It's Dainham Timpleman. Who is it going to be? The battle for third and fourth.
So it looks like Adam's leading out first, so
Yeah,
we'll
qualified
see.
third.
We'll see Dainham be able to match him for pace, I would say.
Yeah, but obviously out the gate here, that little 180S6 30B turbo.
Well, let's see what they can do as they enter the sweeper here at Pukekohe Park.
Right on his door, he's coming up into the rear quarter there, closing up into the switch. Ooh,
186
and,
kilometre an hour entry, it's fast.
So Dainham slowed up a little bit more than he probably wanted to there on the handbrake, and he's just left that little bit of a gap. And he straightened up a little bit out of the section there.
So we might see advantage, Adam Davies.
It looks that way. I mean, Adam did run a really clean run.
We'll have a look at the replay and talk us through this one here. It can't be fun when you're going down there and having to put the bit between the teeth at almost 200 Ks.
So he's thrown it in. Dainham's entered just a fraction later. He's closed right up. Adam's car nearly lifting a wheel there, so he's gone out to Luxio, switched. Dainham's been a little bit off the clip, and then obviously just that slow switch behind the smoke of Adam. And then just there you see him, he's still skidding out of the section, so maybe he's just straightened up.
It's an awesome event that we have here. It's so great to have it. But anyway, let's jump back to it. We've got Dainham Timpleman out leading Adam Davies. Let's see if Adam can sit in behind him. That rocket ships of Dainham is definitely pulling a bit of a gap there. Dainham throwing a nice wide line. Adam throwing it out there too. Dainham tucking up on the inside, which is not giving Adam much room to suck in, but doing pretty well to sit with that smoke machine of Dainham Timpleman. Even through here, not the best perfect line.
Maybe Dainham didn't get quite all the way out to the Luxio clip there, and he switched really quickly and carried a lot of speed through Castrol, or I think it's called Jenny
194 entry, so you can see there's 14 kilometre difference just there in the two entries from one another.
As soon as he gets his foot on the gas, it's just driving to the inside. Again, that's so much grip in the track.
Yeah,
so,
and see also Adam, because the door got shut a little bit on him, he didn't get through there and missed that in a clip off the sweeper, but
Yeah, I think
both off of that, man, especially that team even. So here we go. We've got Danem. Slide him right for Danem. Slide him left for Adam Davies. Dan Mackey goes Adam Davies. Brendan Dunker goes Adam Davies, and Zach Pole calls it one more time. So I think if we have a touch of time, we could grab the judges to just explain that.
On the left-hand side of the screen, driving the Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5D with the Roush Yates 436 cubic inch, 900 horsepower V8 by Century Batteries, and Castrol New Zealand, two-time New Zealand Drift King, Fanger Dan Wallhouse, going up against the Nissan New Zealand Nismo R35 Skyline. It's Darren Kelly. You're one of the best. You've got them to a race often imitated, never replicated. The greatest show in drift, the D1NZ. It's final time.
So here we go. Fanger on the entry. Darren is not giving him an inch, and they've both entered.
Look at that. That's nice by Darren. Just
Right on his door.
Wide there by Fanger, running that wide line. Both lifting wheels. Darren switching a little bit wider there. Fanger still running that nice clean line there through there, giving Darren a little bit of room to tuck up. Takes it on there. What a clean run. I hope you guys are on your feet because that was a good battle.
That was impressive. Like Darren keeping the proximity there through the switch. Cole's just giving Darren the feedback from up here. Saying
Man, I'm sitting next to Cole Armstrong. He is shaking. He is right there. It's like he's in the passenger seat with Darren Kelly right now riding shotgun.
Like that, at that speed, if you think about if you were on the highway and you were doing 160 Ks, you're not going to be within 2 feet of the car next to you. And Darren's kept it on line there. Fanger has run a brilliant lead, though. He's made a chaseable run, and Darren's taken every opportunity.
So Cole Armstrong in the ear of Darren Kelly. He's saying Fanger's had a textbook run to start. He knows that you've got to go through and replicate and do exactly the same thing. He's been told to send it.
You don't need to tell Fanger to chase hard. So what we'll see here, I think, is just a replication of exactly what we saw. And it may come down to a mistake on either part, because that was, like I said, both drivers pretty much did as well as they could in the first run.
As we've been saying, Fanger has been running a textbook line so wide, so that's the feedback I gave Darren. He needs to run that wide line into the sweeper and sit wide. Give Fanger that room. Look what he's done there. That is awesome. Fanger's been able to suck right up on that inside, giving him that chaseable line. Big angle from both of those boys. Wow, they did well to catch that. Running out wide to that inner clip. What a good run from both of those guys. That was absolutely awesome. I hope you guys are standing on your feet because that was killer.
So coming up on the replay here, so I think we'll see the runs were very similar. Fanger
199. So this is the fastest battle speed we've seen. 198 for Cole Armstrong last year, 199 for Darren Kelly, and Fanger Dan Wallhouse this time here. Bruce Tannock, look at these drivers, they are side by side.
So yeah, Darren, I mean, Fanger's switched a little bit later there. I think it's because he was basically, there was smoke in the car in front of him. So if you had to split the
All right, let's go to the sliders. Let's see what the judges have to say. Brendan Dunker, Dan Mackey, Zach Pole. Mackey says one more time.
Yes.
Dunker says one more time. Zach Pole. Darren Kelly.
I think that's a fair decision. Like I said, I mean, the differential there is minor. Like when it's a final of a championship, well, sorry, not a final of a championship, but it's the final round of the Triple Crown, and basically Darren's probably got that wrapped up, I think, Steve.
Well, it's, yeah. Be given the information shortly. I'm sure they can just text it to me or something. But
and the thing we've got to look forward to now is both those drivers have got to find another 10% or another 5% they can do better.
Well, if you're at 95%, you can get to 100. I never suggest anyone goes to 100 because they're generally called overdriving and you fall off the track.
No, I'd say they both pretty much gave it their all there. But
You
I
don't
mean,
get much better.
Yeah, like I said, Darren's got to be pretty happy with that. His lead run and his chase run were pretty bang on. That one slight, just washing past that clip, which I guess was the reason for the one more time. And Fanger's lead run was pretty much bang on his qualifying line.
So look, one thing I need to ask is you have to listen to the burble that comes out of my mouth for about the last 4 or 5 years. How do you reckon these guys, the judges, rank the commentary team? Because I think they're pretty good. When Brendan sacks me after this weekend, I think we found a couple of people that could do pretty well if they get knocked out early next round.
Well, I mean, look, apart from the fact they don't have pink hats like you, Steve, they certainly talk a lot less rubbish than you do. That it's been a really good thing having the drivers in there. You know, these guys clearly they're very, very professional.
So, sorry, you were saying about not having pink hats?
Well, mate, you have sealed the deal. Brucey, mate, that is you, mate. That is you. You are so... look, you know, Bruce is probably thinking one day I'm going to have to retire, and what am I going to do after retirement? Well, Brucey, mate, you have found your calling. Your analytics of this has been fantastic, mate. You've really picked up on it. credit where credit's due. You guys obviously listen in driver's briefing, you pay attention, you want to know how to improve, you want the data, you want the feedback, Cole, I think a lot you can attribute to your current 2 championships is that you've come and you've chased feedback and you've pushed us to give you the answers on, those questions you ask. Why did I win? Why didn't I win? What do I need to do to beat this guy? Those sorts of questions that, the top guys really need to ask now so they can come and understand. We only get 15 minutes to tell you what we've worked a good 2 or 3 hours on setting down for a line to get that across to you guys and you guys to understand. So those questions are vital to do well.
Dead right. So here they go. They send it out of the gate. Oh, look like what happened there. Darren's just, oh no, he's given him a bit of a gap. Fanger has stepped away. That is quick out of the gate by Fanger Dan there. Awesome.
So he's held his line.
Wide. That is real cool. Judges will take into the consideration, obviously, how Darren was back further. Now he sucks right up onto Fanger's door.
Is that contact?
What's that contact?
Oh.
Wow, Fanger goes round.
Oh.
Both of those. That is pushing it to the limit.
I think Darren might have got caught out there by how much angle that the Mustang can throw.
Definitely not. Nah, Darren had that pretty sweet. It was Fanger that definitely spun out on that one. But we'll see if we can get Darren on the comms and see what he might have thought on that. But wow, he came over with a great rate of knots, tried to shut the door. Look at Fanger, 193, so that's like 13 kilometres, another 5 to 7 kilometres faster than he's normally done. Awesome to see. What a line by both of these guys. Fanger just lifting the wheel of that Mustang and on the throttle. Darren,
yeah, he's hit him there. Looks like he's tapped him there.
How?
I don't know.
That's a tough one.
We don't know how that car feels, but how much angle it throws, maybe a tap is enough to unset it like that. So watching the replay again. So I'm not sure if Darren, the car broke into wheel spin or whether he just underestimated how fast Fanger can get out of the box.
Yeah, so we just had a bit of a confirmation from Darren. They were definitely going at a great rate of knots. Darren said he did touch him a touch, but it was in a way, what happened there.
You can see Fanger's hands on the wheel trying to grab it.
Trying to grab it. So Fanger's on the handbrake. Touch there. Car is a little bit unsettled.
Yeah, and it looks like, because that car switches so fast.
Yeah, that's a very tight one. Wow, they just sandwiched together.
Right. Looking at it, obviously Fanger really got the jump on Darren on that one, coming down the straight. So Fanger gave us an absolutely amazing entry, a nice big wide line like we'd asked for. Darren was going to have to do really, really well to try and catch up and make some proximity on it. You saw that with him shallowing through the sweeper. He came in very, very hot. Of course, the angle that Fanger drives with is massive coming through the S's there. And as he's come in, Darren's obviously probably made the right decision to try and sort of switch a little bit later there and try and make that a little bit of a dive. But the problem with that is he's obviously come in and connected with Fanger. And you'll see from the shot from the other side, you'll see Fanger pretty much lose his grip on the steering wheel, even though he's at the opposite lock, and he's scrambling to try and catch it again as he's gone for the switch, and that's resulted in him taking that spin.
He switched early.
Yeah. Because you probably find that maybe one hand was on the handbrake as well.
Yeah. See, so it would have been definitely one hand on the wheel there, grabbing the handbrake, where before normally it'd probably be quite hard on the throttle and have 2 wheels on the hand.
And you can see Fanger with the when he gets hit, the shock of his helmet. So it's actually a harder hit than probably what it looks through on the camera. So we're putting Darren at fault for turning Fanger around.
All right, so we've heard from the judges that there will be a degree of fault that is placed in the hands of Darren Kelly. Of course, the Nissan New Zealand Nismo R35 Skyline.
Yeah,
so he got hit on the left, and then he spun around. That was the big contact.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so here watch this, guys. This is the grand final run. Darren Kelly versus Fanger Dan Wallhouse and the RTR Mustang versus the Nissan GDR Skyline. This is going to be one hell of a run. Watch the speed as these boys come in here. Fanger dropping right in behind of Darren Kelly. They are hauling into this entry. Darren has pulled a slight gap, and wow, he is quick. But look how he just quickly sucked up on the inside. Fanger still running that rail line like he has been doing all weekend. Darren tucking back in there. and running that line, but Fanger doing what he does need to, tucking up on the inside, getting a nice clean run through there, and hats off to both of those boys because that was a pretty awesome run.
Darren certainly kept the foot up it there.
177. No.
Yeah, we're calling a mistake on the speed gun there because Darren hasn't lifted at all.
No way is that a 177. Someone's got the jitters, I think. Maybe, but hats off to these boys. Good battle through here. Fanger obviously having a little bit of a gap, not needing to push it massively, having a 10-0 up his sleeve, but
I think
what a
Steve's
great
definitely got surprised there with how quick Darren's come out of the box.
Brendan Dunker says Fanger Dan. Dan Mackey says Fanger Dan. Zach Poles says Fanger Dan, driving the Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5D with a Roush Yates 436 cubic inch, 900 horsepower V8, round 4 winner of the D1NZ Pukekohe, Fanger Dan Wallhouse.
Yeah, so shout out to Century Batteries, CTB Performance, X-Force and all Fangers backing. That's a perfect weekend, 1-1. Hasn't done that many times. I'm sure there's not many drivers who have done it many times. So well done to Fanger and the team. And also, hey, Darren drove awesome as well. And I think you're going to basically see him just destroy the tyres now.
All right, well...
Super 6. No, yep.
Wow, that's how you do it.
Something's still hanging off his wing. I'm not sure if it's part of his bodywork.
Pukekohe Park, put your hands together. That's your second place man, Darren Kelly. But our next car is driving back out. It's his turn to finally do victory burnouts. So there he is out on the screen, Fanger Dan Wallhouse. He has finally done it in that Ford Mustang RTR.
Oh, don't park it in the wall, boy.
In third place, driving the Ryko 24/7 Mimico 180, it's Adam Davies. In second place, driving the Nissan New Zealand Nismo R35 Skyline, Darren Kelly. And the winner of round 4 of the D1NZ at his home track, driving the Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5D with a Roush Yates 436 cubic inch, 900 horsepower V8 by Century Batteries and Castro New Zealand, 2 times New Zealand Drift King, Fanger Dan Wallhouse.
Haven't seen this for a while.
Well, do you want to say anything before we, in the 4th position, it was a hell of a top 4, Dane and Timpleman? Yeah, thank your sponsors, they're here this weekend.
Hey, I'd just like to thank NZ Motor Oil and my guys. They worked pretty hard over the weekend. We had a huge misfire with the car, and thanks to them, thanks to Chicken, who worked with Ross, our engine tuner, to sort it out. Congratulations to the rest of the Podium guys. Well done, Fanger. And yeah, thanks for everyone turning up who's actually still left.
All right, thank you very much, Dana. Let's move on to 3rd place. Adam Davies, well done.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. To be honest, I actually didn't think I'd be standing here today. I was driving like a bit of a wanker yesterday, so pretty glad to be standing up here. But managed to pull it together in qualifying and got a good qualifying position, and managed to pull it off to finish in 3rd. So a big congratulations to Fanger and Darren, and the points are going to be pretty tight now. So Manfield's going to be pretty epic. Huge thanks to the crew again. I already thanked them, but hey, without your crew, you can't do the season. So and also all of D1Z, all the volunteers and that, they put lots of hours into this to make it what it is. So big thanks to them.
Oh, yeah. Good work, Fanger. That was some epic battles. I just couldn't quite stick with you on the line. Just sort of made a small error, and you got away from me. But closed up, bit aggressive, and gave you a decent nudge. But yeah, I'll get you next time. Yeah, thanks. Massive thanks to all my sponsors, everybody. Nissan New Zealand, Triple T, the Bling Company. All these guys make it 100% possible for us to do this. Without them, 100% wouldn't be doing it. Also, as I said before, my crew, Cole's crew, everyone, flat out all the time. It's awesome to have both teams working together so closely. So, stoked. Bring on Manfield.
It's been a long time since I stood on this top step, and the boys said to me this weekend, they're like, are we going to see the old Fanger? And I was like, Fanger's back. So we, like I say, we've been qualifying really well. We've just had to put the battles together and stop driving like a girl from Nicole, pretty much. She's like, she gave me absolute shit. But it's all down to my crew, my brand partners that have supported me for 17 odd years now. Castrol, we were over at Beach Hop doing a thing with them, but Century Batteries, RTR Mustangs, and Sam from CTB Performance, they took me under their wing. It most probably would have been my last season of racing last year because there wasn't nothing left for me, and the whole Mustang thing come along, Ford, and then Sam and RTR worked together, and everything just woke me back up and gave me a bit of a next life of the drifting family. So just thanks to my crew supporting me. We've been through thick and thin, and we're getting on top of it now. So sorry to bore you, but pretty stoked that we got this far. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone that's hung around, and make sure you tell your friends, family, everyone in New Zealand, offshore, to get to Manfield because the finals is going to be epic. Thank you.
All right. Well, it's time to spray the champagne in third place in the Ryco 24/7 Mimico 180. Of course, Adam Davies for the Nissan New Zealand R35 Skyline pilot, Darren Kelly, and the winner of round 4 of the D1NZ, Fanger Dan Wallhouse. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming along. Guys, we'll get the trophies up, but thank you very much for coming along to Pukekohe Park Raceway for round 4 of the D1NZ. If you're tuning in at home, thank you very much for tuning in via Facebook and, of course, our websites throughout the world. I really appreciate you coming around. As Fang has said, there's only one place to be for the grand final, and that is Manfield Circuit Chris Amon. If you're travelling home, please have a safe travel home. If you've been drinking, make sure you've got yourself a safe ride. On behalf of Brendan White and the team from the D1NZ, thank you very much, and we'll see you at the grand final.